This conference will now be recorded.
Hello all, please confirm if you are able to hear me. Please write on the chat screen. Okay, perfect. So let me start the recording. It is already started. Hello and welcome to this webinar. As you know, this webinar is on SAP S/4HANA system conversion. Before we start the webinar, let me start with my small introduction. Those of you who are listening to me for the first time, or you are attending any of my session for the first time, for those of you, my name is Vikram and I am the SAP S/4HANA consultant. I have around 17 years of experience in the SAP, and uh, in all these years I worked on different products from SAP, started with SAP ERP, and then obviously now from last 6-7 years completely focused on SAP S/4HANA projects. Now within SAP S/4HANA, there are different modules. I hope all of you are coming from the background, at least some years of experience in SAP. So my domain or my expertise in the modules is mainly from the financials perspective. So the normal modules, like the core modules like SAP FI, SAP CO, plus the niche modules like SAP RAR, SAP Central Finance, SAP FSCM, TRM. These are some of my expertise. Now, I also got around 10 years of experience in providing this kind of trainings. Initially, I was providing the trainings to the other third party, you can say institutes, but from last 7 years, 6 to 7 years, I am running my own institutes, which is Goro Learning Solutions, where we provide the training on different modules. So me, along with my other team of trainers, we are now providing the training on different modules in SAP. So that is about me. And now the topic for today that we are going to talk about is SAP S/4HANA system conversion. So what I will do is I will, because there is a very overwhelming response, already more than 300 guys are already on the call, so it would be very difficult for me to unmute you guys and go ahead with your Q&A. Normally I allow the Q&A sessions, but what I will do today is, let's see how much time I am able to utilize on my presentation. But you can keep writing your questions on the chat screen. If you have any doubts, any questions related to the topic that we are discussing, you can keep writing your questions on the chat screen. I have asked my team to compile those questions, and towards the end we will try to answer those questions. Okay, apart from that also, if required, if your questions are not answered, you are free to uh, like WhatsApp us on our number, or you can email us. If you have any further doubts, we can definitely try to provide all the response. Okay, so now without wasting time, let's come to the topic, that is SAP S/4HANA system conversion. Before I explain what exactly is system conversion, I think all of you know, but just I'm not assuming anything. I will just go to make sure that each and everyone is able to utilize this session, irrespective of you are coming from a lot of background of SAP, or you are a completely beginner, or you just started your career in SAP. Also, it is not only those guys who are just understanding this from the academics purpose. I know there are many guys who have joined this particular webinar in order to understand that how in their organization this SAP S/4HANA can be implemented, or how their existing SAP ECC system can be converted to SAP S/4HANA system. So first of all, what exactly is SAP S/4HANA? As you know, SAP S/4HANA is a next generation business suite. Okay, and why it is called as a next generation business suite? Because it offers the simplified and advanced features. But if you combine all the features into three different, if you say three different key pillars, then number one is SAP HANA in-memory platform, which is basically the database that SAP uses. So traditionally, when we were using the old products of SAP before SAP S/4HANA, the SAP was not providing their own database. SAP was providing the application, and the database layer was taken care by the third party like Oracle, SQL, DB2. These were the third party vendors who were providing the database service, while uh, customers were using the SAP applications. But when it comes to SAP S4HANA, SAP S4HANA, the name itself says it is the SAP Business Suite, which is developed on HANA database, which will only work on the HANA database. Now, HANA is a database which is much faster, much advanced compared to the other database vendors which are available in the market. Okay, and that is the reason the first thing that you need to understand is why SAP S4HANA is so powerful. Reason number one is it uses in-memory platform called as SAP HANA, which is the database which is much faster, much productive compared to the third-party databases that SAP was using till now before SAP S4HANA. The second pillar of SAP S4HANA is responsive user experience design, okay, which means SAP Fiori. If you're not heard about SAP Fiori, SAP Fiori is a new user interface. So previously, if I talk about SAP ECC, in order to do my transactions, in order to execute my reports, whatever you want to do in the SAP system, there was a SAP application that you need to install on your PC, right? You have to install like a normal software, and you will be only able to do anything in SAP after installing that. Okay, but nowadays most of the things we don't need to install. For example, if I want to do the banking, I can go to the banking portal, I can do the transaction from anywhere. I can use for my mobile for that, I can use my laptop for that. So if I'm traveling, if I'm doing anything, I can connect to the banking system, I can book the tickets, right? So most of the things in today's environment, they are not dependent on the application to be installed on your PC. Same way, from the SAP point of view also, SAP also wanted to come up with the browser-based user screen through which there is no need to install anything on your SAP system. You can just use a link, connect to the SAP system and do your transactions from anywhere. And not only just doing the transactions, but doing the transactions in the much simpler way. So if you look at the old screens of SAP that we were using in SAP ECC, although if you are already comfortable, if you are already working as a SAP end user or SAP consultant, you may find that, oh, I don't find it very difficult because I'm using it for years. But the new users who are onboarded onto the SAP system, there is a lot of training to be given to them in order to start using that SAP system, right? And that is the reason the new screen that SAP has introduced, the new user experience, which is based on SAP Fiori, it is very, very simple to use compared to the old tools that we were using or old application that we were using. And there will be less effort required in order to train the business users in doing the transactions. And they will be much comfortable working on the new screens. So that is number two. And not only that, this screen of SAP now can be accessed not only from your laptops and computers, but you can also access through your tablets, you can also access through your mobile devices. So that is additional benefit that SAP S4HANA offers with the form of SAP Fiori. So number one, SAP HANA, number two, SAP Fiori. But now these two things are from the technical side, right? When a customer is using SAP, they definitely want the speed. They definitely want to have the better user experience. But most importantly, the customers who are using SAP, why they are using SAP is because of their business processes, the business processes which are provided by SAP for different departments of the organization. Okay, be it the procurement department, be it a sales department, be it a manufacturing, HR, finance, there are n number of departments in the organization. And if all those departments want to use a single system which is integrated, which is able to provide the flexibility in customizing it as per the business requirements, okay, that is the reason SAP is so popular, right? But as you know, with the new generation, there are new requirements coming into the picture. Customers are definitely trying to simplify most of their business processes. They want the speed, they want the user experience, but they also want the advanced features. Okay, so the unifying functionalities in the core means your basic system. So if I give you the example, if I'm using SAP ECC and if I want to do consolidation, financial consolidation, that is not available in my ECC system. So if I want to do the consolidation, I need to use the other tools from SAP like SAP BPC. Similarly, if I want to do the advanced planning, I need to use BPC. If I want to do the advanced planning from the logistics point of view, maybe I need to use SAP APO. If I want to manage the customer relationships, I have to use another product from SAP called as SAP CRM. So what is happening is in my core system means ECC system. In that system, I don't have a lot of features available. I have the basic features available, and for advanced features, I have to again go to the other SAP products. But now the customers are looking for that all the basic features plus advanced features which are required on day-to-day basis should be available in the core system itself. For that, there should not be any other product to be used, or the additional integration should not be required. So what SAP has tried to do in SAP S/4HANA, they have tried to bring more and more features in the core system. So just now the examples that I gave you, if you want to do the consolidation, no need to go for additional hardware, no need to go for the additional product from SAP. Within SAP S/4HANA, they provided the inbuilt consolidation process, or they also provided SAP group reporting, which is very much part of the core system. Similarly, from the planning from logistics planning point of view, the advanced features which was possible only in APO and all, now even that APO is already part of the core system itself. There are a lot of features within APO which has become part of the core system. So instead of using multiple products from SAP to take care of your basic and advanced scenarios, now SAP is trying to bring more and more features to the core itself, so that you don't need to deploy multiple applications to manage your processes. So these are the three key pillars of SAP S/4HANA. Why SAP S/4HANA is becoming popular, why customers are migrating towards SAP S/4HANA, is because they want to have the speed, they want to have the better user experience, and at the same time, they also want to see the advanced features in the core system itself rather than going for different products. Right? Just give me a minute. Yeah. So this is SAP S/4HANA. Now the question comes, what are the different options to move to SAP S/4HANA? Now the answer depends upon what is your current position. Okay, for example, if I am a customer and I want to implement SAP S/4HANA, what are the different options? Option number one is I can go for the new implementation, which means if I am a customer and I'm not using SAP at all, in that case, I will go for SAP Greenfield Implementation Project. Okay, Greenfield Implementation Project means I will start implementing SAP from scratch. There is another scenario. Let's assume if I'm already SAP ECC customer, I'm already using SAP ECC from years, and now I want to go for SAP S/4HANA. This kind of scenario is called as brownfield implementation project, or in another term, the thing that we are discussing today, system conversion. So remember, whenever we are talking about a system conversion, the topic for today, system conversion, what does it mean? It means it is only applicable to those customers who are already running SAP ECC system and they want to convert their existing SAP ECC system to SAP S/4HANA. They don't want to start from scratch. They want to convert the same system in which there is already configuration, in which there is already master data, in which there are already transactions, in which there are already customized reports, customized forms, so a number of RISEF objects. They don't want to do all this from scratch. They want to convert the same system from ECC to S/4HANA. This kind of project is called as a system conversion project. Okay, if you see the slide, it will become very clear. So this is a situation. Okay, don't worry about all these things as of now, just focus on this particular one. So SAP Business Suite on any database. This is a situation of SAP ECC. This is an example of SAP ECC. So if this is a situation, current situation of a customer is using SAP Business Suite, okay, SAP ERP 6.0, EHP 0 to 8, any version, which means in short SAP ECC, and they might be using any database. They might not be using even HANA. Okay, as I told you, before 2013, there was no HANA, there was no SAP S/4HANA. Okay, only from 2013 onwards, SAP introduced to use SAP HANA with SAP ECC application. So there are many customers who are using SAP before SAP HANA and SAP S/4HANA came into picture, and they are still continue to use the same system. They are still not upgraded. Okay, why? Because the the first reason can be they are happy with their current system and they are not facing many challenges. That is the reason they want to continue using SAP ECC. And reason number two is because there was no pressure from SAP also. SAP has allowed enough time for the customers to convert their SAP ECC system to SAP S/4HANA system. But the situation now, okay, even if I am a customer and I am happy with SAP ECC system, okay, obviously nobody is 100% happy, but it is all about cost effectiveness and other reasons because of which customers were not migrating to SAP S/4HANA. But even if I have not migrated to SAP S/4HANA till now we are only left with another maybe 1 or 2 years within which we have to migrate to SAP S/4HANA. Each and every customer has to migrate to SAP S/4HANA because going forward, SAP is not going to provide the support on SAP ECC. And that is the reason there is a huge demand in the market as of today. You will find there are a lot of projects happening where the customers are converting from SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA. And obviously, when there is a demand of this kind of projects, there will be always the demand for consultants who have this expertise of helping the customers migrating or converting their existing ECC system to SAP S/4HANA system. So think about this scenario. This is a customer who has implemented SAP ECC before 2013 and they are using SAP ECC with Oracle or DB2, or maybe there are other third-party databases which were available. Now, what are the options available to this customer in order to migrate or in order to convert the same system to SAP S/4HANA system? Okay, option number one is one-step conversion, which means the database as well as application, because there are two changes required. We definitely need to use HANA database. We cannot use any other database in SAP S/4HANA. So we need to perform the conversion of database, and we also need to perform the conversion of application from ECC to SAP S/4HANA. So option number one is we can do both the things at the same time. So we'll go with one-step conversion in which initially the database will be converted to HANA and immediately the application will be converted to SAP S/4HANA. Now, how? There are different technical tools which are provided by SAP. So I will explain those tools also in the coming slides. But as of now, just understand from the conceptual point of view that there are two ways in which this customer can convert their existing ECC system to SAP S/4HANA system. Number one is one-step conversion, where the database as well as application will be converted at once. Option number two, and I have seen many customers, not now, but initially when SAP S/4HANA was introduced, I have seen many companies, they adopted two-step process. So what they have done is, first they have converted their database without changing their application. Okay, so from SAP ECC to SAP ECC itself, but they have converted their database to SAP HANA. Okay, they are not converted to SAP S/4HANA, just the database conversion to SAP HANA. And then maybe after 1 or 2 years, they have migrated from ECC to SAP S/4HANA because their database was already on HANA. So this is called as two-step process, two-step conversion process. Okay, so whatever we are going to discuss today in next maybe one or 1.5 hour, we are only focusing on this scenario. We are not at all going to talk about the greenfield. We are only going to understand how the system conversion works, what are the tools provided by SAP, what is required from the technical side, what is required from the functional side. Those are the things that we are going to discuss in detail. Okay, so just remember, system conversion means converting SAP ECC system to SAP S/4HANA is called as a system conversion project. Okay, now what are the activities? Before I go to the activities, let me also tell you one thing, that when it comes to the system conversion, it is not like, again, I don't know what is your background. I know there are a lot of people who are from the functional side. I know there will be a lot of consultants who have joined this session who are from the technical side. Again, from the functional side also, some of the consultants will be from FI, some of the consultants will be from logistics. So when it comes to the system conversion, in system conversion also, it is not something that a single consultant will be doing or a single skill set will be doing. It is not like FI consultant will be doing everything, or it is not like logistics consultant will be doing everything, or it is also not that technical consultant will be only responsible for this particular activity. It is again the combination. So there are different activities which are performed in the system conversion project. Some of those activities are done by the technical consultants, other activities are done from the FICO consultants, and then there are activities which are also done from the logistics side. So consultant, SD consultant, and obviously if you have other modules in place like HR, within logistics, if you have PP, if you have PS, so all the consultants, they have some changes compared to ECC and to SAP S4 HANA. So they will be also part of this system conversion project. Okay, and in this webinar I'm going to do is, initially first few minutes I'm only going to talk about the technical tools. Okay, now you may not be coming from the technical side, but again, even if you are not coming from the technical side, these tools are important to understand, so you know the overall picture how the system conversion project will work. Okay, and then towards the end I will tell you what are the additional things required from the FICO side, and what are the additional steps required from the logistics side also, so that you will be having a clear picture in your mind that what exactly is system conversion, what are the different phases in the system conversion project, what would be the role of the technical consultant, what would be the role of the functional FI consultant, and what would be the role from the logistics consultant. And then you also need to identify, out of all these things, where exactly you stand. Okay, so for example, some of you who have already may not be working on the system conversion project, but if you are already working on SAP S/4HANA Greenfield implementation project, or if you are not working, maybe you have taken the training on SAP S/4HANA, you know what are the changes in SAP S/4HANA or SAP ECC, then you don't need to go for any other training. You are directly ready to work on the conversion project. Okay, but on the other hand, if you are someone who has worked on SAP ECC, okay, but you never got the chance to work on SAP S/4HANA, so you will have a clear guideline that from the finance point of view, what are the things that you need to learn, or if you are coming from the logistics background, from the and SD point of view, what are the important things that you need to learn. And obviously from the technical side, if you are a technical consultant, what are the things that you also need to learn in order to start working on the system conversion projects, which are going to be in very much demand in coming months or years. Okay, so let me go to the next slide. Let me just tell you the high level picture of the different phases in the system conversion project. So you know there is something called as SAP Activate methodology in SAP. If you have not gone through it, maybe I'm not talking only about SAP Activate. I will uh, if you go to my YouTube channel and search for SAP Activate, you'll be able to see the detailed video on what exactly is SAP Activate methodology if you want in more detail. But here the focus is from the system conversion point of view, which are the important phases within the Activate methodology. So within SAP Activate methodology, you know there is a prepare phase and there is a realize phase. These two phases are very important. Okay, and within these two phases, what are the different activities that we need to perform? That is also something which is very important. Okay, now by default, when I say prepare, okay, please remember up to prepare and after prepare. So this is prepare and then this is realize. Whatever activities you are able to see in the prepare, these are the activities normally that you need to do in your source system, which means in your ECC system. And these are the activities which you will be doing. Okay, may not be you may not call it as S4 HANA, but you will be doing in order to convert your ECC system to SAP S4 HANA system. So these activities you are doing in SAP ECC, and these activities you are doing in ECC itself in order to convert to SAP S4 HANA system. Okay, let's understand what are the activities now. So in the preparation phase, what you need to perform is you need to perform some planning, and you need to do some system, you need to understand the system requirements, right? Not all the SAP ECC uh, systems can be converted to SAP S/4HANA. We need to understand there are some system requirements. So first we have to make the SAP ECC system ready for conversion. Okay, there are some from the technical side, there are some challenges, there are some prerequisites that only if those prerequisites are met, then only you can convert that SAP ECC system to SAP S/4HANA. Okay, so the first thing, as a technical consultant, again, this particular thing, this entire thing is from the technical side. Okay, apart from this cross application, this four things: planning, system requirement, maintenance planner, SI check, and custom code migration. These are the technical tools which are available from SAP, which will help you in understanding, or which will help you in preparing for the system conversion. And these tools are normally executed by the technical consultants, but yes, the results of these tools needs to be discussed with the functional consultants. Okay, I'll give you the example, no need to worry. So planning and system requirements, we need to make sure that the system that we are converting, the SAP ECC system that we are converting to SAP S/4HANA, is ready. Is it meeting the prerequisites? If not, then we have to perform some patches. We need to make sure that the system is made ready before the conversion. Okay. Now, once this part is done, next is a maintenance planner. Again, this is a technical tool from SAP. Okay, what this tool will do? This tool will actually perform the activities, or actually it will verify whether your system is ready from the technical side, or if not, what are the challenges you will face once you start the migration project, or once you start the system conversion project. Okay, I've explained these tools in detail in the coming slides. As of now, I'm just giving you the high level overview. Next one is SI check. SI means simplified item. Okay, simplified item. Now what do you mean by simplified item? So in SAP S/4HANA, there are a lot of new features in different modules. Okay, now in order to bring those new features, SAP has made some changes to the existing functionalities or features, due to which some of the tables which were there in SAP ECC are no more available in S/4HANA. Some of the very old features that were 30-40 years old and customers were not using it because the new products or new solutions are available from SAP, those tools or those features are deleted from SAP. So this simplification item check, it is nothing but a list of all those features which are new in S/4HANA, or which were there in SAP ECC but will not be available on SAP S/4HANA. Okay, it is a list of the new features and the features which are no more available on SAP S/4HANA. Okay, so we'll see what exactly is simplified item check and how it will help you in your project. The last one is a custom code migration. What do you mean by custom code migration now? So, whenever we are working on the SAP projects, there are many requirements which cannot be made in the standard system. So what we do, we go with the RISEF objects. What are RISEFs? RISEFs, like, we create the customized reports, or we create the interfaces, we create the forms, we write the conversion programs. So if you already invested a lot, if you already created some Z reports, if you already created some forms, if you already created some interfaces, if you already created some workflows, now if you are going to SAP S/4HANA, whether those customized objects will be supported in S/4HANA, or because there are some tables no more available on S/4HANA, there are some other features which are not available on S/4HANA, due to that, whether those custom reports will be available as it is, or we need to make some changes. So this analysis you can do in your current system itself before even starting the migration or system conversion project. So this tool will give you the list of all the custom code objects, and it will tell you which custom code objects will work as it is and which custom code objects requires some adjustments and which custom code objects may not work at all. Okay, and whatever adjustments are required, even it will provide you the detailed SAP note, so that looking at that SAP note, you will come to know that this is a new feature in SAP S4HANA, and in order to make this custom code work in S4HANA, what are the changes required, right? So this is the custom code migration tool, again the technical tool which is provided by SAP. Now, all these things, as I told you, are normally responsibility of a technical consultant. They will execute these tools and they will share the feedback. They will share the files with you. They will share the analysis with you. So when they run this SI check, for example, they will come to know what are the standard features which will be impacted if you go for S4HANA. When they execute this custom code migration, again they will provide you the report, and looking at the report you will come to know which custom objects may not be available on S4HANA, or which custom objects will need the adjustment to be used in S4HANA. So looking at these reports, you will come to know what is available, what is not available, what would be the impact on the existing SAP ECC system, on the business processes which are already being used, and you will be able to convince, or you'll be able to discuss this with the business users, so that they are made aware that which features will be supported, which features will not be supported, which custom objects will be available, which custom objects will not work, and then according to their feedback, according to their sign off, we will proceed towards the realization phase. Okay, so these are the activities which are done from the technical side, but with the help of functional consultant to make sure that the reports are analyzed, discussed with the business, and the feedback is required. Now, in addition to this, you can see there are some other activities also which are done, called as cross application and application specific preparation activities. I'll just give you the high level example of what are these activities. So there are some technical activities which needs to be done. As I told you, in order to make the system ready, there are some activities which are required to be done from the technical side, and then there are some activities which are required from the functional side. Okay, a very basic example that I can give you is in SAP S4 HANA, without creating the business partner, you will not be able to create a customer vendor, right? So in ECC, you might be having customers vendors even without creating the BPs. So in the ECC system itself, you have to convert your customers and vendors to business partners before even you start the migration process, even before you start the system conversion process. So that is one of the example of application specific preparation activities. So from FI side, from MM side, from SD side, the example that I gave you, it is one example. There are a lot of such examples that you need to perform in your ECC system itself before even the system conversion patches are applied by the technical consultant, right? So these are all the activities which are done in your source system itself, the ECC system itself, before applying the patches, before converting this ECC system to SAP S4HANA. Now, once all these activities are done, what you can do now is, now you can hand over the system to the technical guy and ask him to convert this system to SAP S4HANA by applying the patches using this tool called as Software Update Manager. Okay, this is a technical tool from SAP which allows you to upgrade the database migration. Okay, as we discussed here, that using this tool we can perform the conversion in one step also, or we can perform the conversion in two steps also. Now, assuming that I am using SUM tool to convert this system to SAP S4HANA, then what are the activities this tool will perform? First of all, it will perform the conversion to HANA database. So from traditional database, it will perform the conversion to HANA database. Number two, it will update the software. So from SAP ECC, now the software will become SAP S4HANA. And then the third thing is data conversion. So as I told you, there are a lot of master data here, there are a lot of configurations here, there are a lot of transactions, there are a lot of reports. I don't want to miss out those. Okay, I want to bring all those things to the SAP S4HANA application. So even the data will be converted, whatever data is available in this system, it will be converted to S/4HANA system. Okay, and finally, again, once the system is converted to SAP S/4HANA, there will be again some activities which will be required from the technical side, and there will be some activities required from the functional side, FI, SD, MM. So as a FI consultant, as a MM consultant, as a SD consultant, we will be definitely involved throughout the project. Although the technical steps will be performed by the technical consultants, but as soon as they provide you the reports, you have to analyze these reports, you have to discuss with the business, okay, you have to take the decision, then the system will be converted. And once it is converted, again, there will be a lot of configurations of the new features. Again, I can give the example. In SAP ECC, we were using the SD credit management. In S4HANA, we are using FSCM credit management. SD credit management is no more available. So once you are converted to SAP S4HANA, you have to configure the new credit management. In SAP ECC, we were using the the output. If I want to create a purchase order output for the printouts and all, so we were using the classic output management. In SAP S4HANA, we use the BRF plus output management. So if you want to use the BRF plus output management, once the system is converted, you have to do the configuration related to BRF plus based output determination. In ECC, for the purchase order approval, we are using the classic release strategy. In SAP S4HANA, we have the flexible release strategy. So once you are converted to SAP S4HANA, you have to activate the flexible release strategy. You have to do the configuration. Okay. Again, what else? In ECC, we were using the classic asset accounting. In SAP S4HANA, it provides you the new asset accounting feature, which allows you real-time integration, real-time postings in multiple depreciation areas. Again, if you want to use that feature, once the system is converted, you have to activate those features. You have to do the configurations. In ECC, we were using costing-based COPA. In S4HANA, it is recommended to use account-based COPA. You have to do that configurations, right? What else? There are a lot of examples. Okay, so all those examples I have highlighted from and MMSD and FI point of view towards the end, but I hope you are getting the understanding now that what exactly is system conversion, what is the role of the functional consultant in the system conversion project, what is the role of the technical consultant, what are the different tools. Okay, so what is maintenance planner, what is SI check, what is custom code migration, what is software update manager. These are all the tools which will be used from the technical side in order to perform the system conversion. Okay, just keep on writing your questions. If you have any doubts, please keep on writing those questions so that I can cover at the end of the session. Okay, and now I will try to explain some of these important features, some of these important tools in detail. Okay, let's start with this simplification item catalog. Okay, now instead of reading this, let me give you the practical example. See, you are a functional consultant. Let's assume you are the functional consultant. If a client asks you that, okay, I am using SAP ECC today, and now I want to migrate to SAP S4HANA. Can you tell me what are the differences between SAP ECC and SAP S4HANA, and what would be the impact on my current ECC system? Okay, so first of all, assuming that you are completely new, if you already know some of the things like business partner approach, credit management approach, you can definitely talk about that. But assuming you are completely new and even you don't know what is new in S4 HANA, so what is a place in SAP, where should I go and find all this information? In SAP, if you just go to Google, okay, if you just go to Google and write SAP S4 HANA simplification list, okay, it is a PDF document. SAP S/4HANA simplification list. It is a PDF document. It is around, I'm not sure about 2023 version, but more than 1500, 2000 pages document, which is having the list of all the new features, all the features which are removed from SAP S/4HANA, all the new features which are added in S/4HANA, or all the features with the old functionality versus new functionality for different modules. So if I want to go only for finance, I can go to that particular section and I can see from finance point of view what are the new things which are added in SAP S/4HANA. From finance point of view, which are the features which are available in ECC, which are removed by SAP in S/4HANA. So I can get a list of all the changes compared to ECC and SAP S/4HANA. So previously, maybe if I talk about the initial versions, 15.11, 16.10, 17.10, normally we were following that approach. We were downloading the simplification list, and based on that simplification list, we were telling the customer that these are the changes which will come once you implement or once you perform the system conversion to S/4HANA. Okay, and that was fine. But now what SAP has done is even more than that, called as simplification item catalog. Okay, this is kind of a Excel file. I will give you the demo also. Just give me a minute. I will start sharing my full screen so that you are able to see the other part also. Yeah, just let me know if you are able to see my screen once again. Can you see my screen now? Okay, perfect. Yes, so if I show you this one, okay, this is the link. You can see me.sap.com and then it will open SIC. SIC is nothing but simplification item catalog. Okay, simplification item catalog, and you can see this catalog is available for different versions. So for SAP S/4HANA 2021, for SAP S/4HANA 2022, and this is for the latest version of SAP S/4HANA 2023. If I click on this, you can see there are total 756 items which are part of simplification catalog. Okay, which means 756 items which are changed compared to SAP ECC. Okay, and you can see these are for different modules. You can see business area, application component. Okay, for different modules, you can see LOB, line of business. So within finance, within HR, within different modules in SAP, if you want to restrict to the particular one, you can select here also. So for example, I want to see only relevant to finance. Okay, now you can see it is showing me the list of all those objects which are changed compared to SAP ECC in the finance area. Okay, so for example, it will talk about, you can see there are some changes in the treasury management. There are some changes in the electronic payment integration. This is specific to a particular country. But you can see apart from this, you'll be able to see something related to asset accounting. You'll be able to see something related to group accounting, group reporting, because that is a new feature. Again, you'll be able to see something related to business partner, for example. Okay, so the way the business partners were created earlier versus the how the customers vendors are going to be created now. So this is a list in short which is called as simplification item catalog, which will have all the details of what has been changed compared to ECC in SAP S/4HANA. And this is a list with the SAP note. So for example, if I want to know what is changed in DMEE file compared to SAP ECC, how the DMEE was working earlier and what has been changed in S/4HANA, you can click on this SAP note. It will provide you the complete detail of the changes. Right, so this information is provided by SAP to help customers identify the differences between ECC and S/4HANA, not only to the companies, for the consultants also like us. It would be useful for us also. So whenever we want to analyze, whenever we want to confirm to the client that what has been changed, we can go to this simplification item catalog and we can provide the kind of presentation on these are the things which are changed. Okay, but there is one problem here. Okay, let's take example. If I go to simplification item catalog and if I found out that there are, let's say, 30 items related to finance. Now in those 30 items, there are few items related to group reporting. There are few items related to treasury. There are few items related to credit management. There are few items related to, let's say, central finance. Okay, and there are only 10 items which are related to core finance. Core finance like AP, AR, GL. Now, will you provide the list of all the 30 to your customer, or you will only provide the list of 10 core? It totally depends upon what customer is using in their current system. Okay, till the time we don't go and find out what exactly is their scope, what exactly are the things that they are using in their current system, till that time whatever report we will prepare will not be the complete report, because we will not know in advance that which of these 30 items are actually related to customer. So initially when we were doing this, okay, in the initial years till maybe uh, 2019 or 2020, it was difficult because we were trying to understand their system, and then we were going through the simplification list, and then we were trying to find out which is relevant to this customer. So it was a manual process. But now this simplification item catalog is available in the SAP readiness check. This is another tool from SAP. Okay, what this tool will do, just try to read this. As a customer, you can consume the simplification items, same items, these items that we discussed, via the SAP readiness check. So based on the analysis of the configuration data and usage of your productive SAP ERP system, the readiness check for SAP S4HANA identifies the simplification items relevant to your conversion. So there is a tool now. Okay, we don't need to do anything manually. What we can do is we can ask our technical team to use this tool to identify the simplification items which are relevant for this customer. So as I told you earlier, out of 30, how much are relevant to customer, we don't know. That is a manual activity that we need to identify. But if we are using this readiness check tool, then system will go in the background, system will identify in the customer's environment that what features are activated. And according to that, which simplification items will be relevant to this customer, it will provide you the complete report. So when you are using the simplification item catalog directly instead of readiness check, please note that the catalog contains all the simplification items. In our example, all the 30, not only those are relevant to your conversion project. Okay, this means you need to identify those which are actually relevant for your system conversion. And when you have done this, you also need to look at the relevant simplification SAP notes. Just now shown you what are those SAP notes? These ones, right? You need to look themselves if you are not using this readiness check. So it is highly recommended that you use this tool. You ask the technical consultant to work on this tool and find out the list of simplification items, so that you are very clear what is relevant to customer and what would be the impact of system conversion to the customer system. Okay, I know I'm going a little bit technical, but just wanted to make sure that all of you are able to understand rather than just the functional consultants. Okay, but yes, I spoke a lot about technical. Now slowly I will move towards the functional part. Okay, so again from the technical side, just a one liner. Those of you who are from the technical side and want to understand what is a maintenance planner, I will be sharing this slides with you. You can go through it and you will be able to understand that in detail. Okay. So maintenance planner, what is simplification item check? There is a custom code migration program also, which is again a technical tool. Okay, what it will do? It will check your custom code against the list of simplifications developed for S4HANA. So for example, if I have 20 custom codes, including my reports, forms, interfaces, and if I want to know whether those custom programs will work in SAP S4HANA or not. So this report will clearly tell me that out of 20 programs, 14 programs are unaffected, which means they will work as it is after conversion. But there are 6 programs which are trying to get the data from the old tables, and these tables are not available on S4HANA. Okay, And it will not only tell you the problem, it will tell you the solution also. So when you run this program, it will tell you what is the problem. It will tell you go through this SAP note to find out the solution. Right? So this is also one of the important tool in order to make sure that your custom codes are also taken care. Okay, and we discussed this cross application preparation activities, and there are some activities which are done from the application point of view. So from finance point of view, from SD point of view, from point of view, there are some activities which we need to do before conversion and even after technical conversion. Okay, so this is from the preparation phase point of view. So from the preparation phase point of view, these are the important tools which will tell us very clearly what would be the impact of system conversion on the standard business processes as well as on the customized processes. So once we get that list, we will analyze, we will speak with our customer, we will provide them feedback, we will ask them whether they are okay to go ahead with this. For example, if we identified that there is one functionality which these customers are using and that will get affected if they go for S/4HANA system conversion. So they may ask to hold this project as of now because that is one of the important functionality for them. Okay, so it is very important for us to clearly tell the customer what would be the impact of system conversion once they perform the system conversion, what additional features they can use in S/4HANA, and which existing features that they are using may not be available on S/4HANA. Okay, now coming to the realization part. So in the realization phase, this is a tool, again the technical tool which is provided by SAP called as SUM. Okay, what is the purpose of this? I already told you it performs 3 steps. It will help in the database migration. If your database is not already on SAP HANA, it will perform the database migration. Number 2, it will update your software. So from ECC to SAP S/4HANA. And third one is data conversion. So the data which is available on SAP ECC may be on the old tables, that would be automatically converted to the new tables. Okay, remember when we talk about data conversion in system conversion project, we don't use the data migration tools like LSMW, LTMC. We don't need those tools. Why? Because the data is within the same system. The same system is ECC, which will be converted to S/4HANA. So data is within the system itself. It is like you are upgrading the software of your mobile device. So before upgradation, it was using one version. After upgradation, it will use another version, but your data, your songs, your photos, your videos, everything is still there in that mobile device itself. It is a very similar project. Okay, let's proceed now from the functional side now. Okay, before I go to the functional side, just a understanding of how the conversion projects are normally done. So, this T1, if you are not able to see this properly, let me increase the size. This T1, T2 is nothing but the timeline. So this is your development system. This is your production system before conversion. Okay, this is your development system. This is your production system before conversion. It is not yet converted. So what will happen? Number one, you can see this dotted line. This dotted line means updates and patches. So there will be some preparations required in order to make this system ready. Okay, in order to make the system ready for the conversion, we need to update some patches. We need to implement some SAP nodes, in simple words. Right, we need to make the system ready so that it can be converted to SAP S/4HANA. So once we perform these patches, it will be converted to this system. This is just a timeline. So this system is converted to this system with, now the system is ready to be converted. So next step is we will perform the conversion. This is exactly what we have done, the system conversion using SUM tool. Okay, this one is this one. Using the SUM tool, we have performed the actual conversion, which means our development system is now converted to SAP S4HANA. Okay, production system is still available on ECC, but development system is converted to SAP S4HANA. And in this example, there is no quality. Okay, normally the quality system also comes in picture, but here we are assuming that there are only two systems. So development system on ECC, we have upgraded it, installed some patches, we have created a copy of the development system. You can see system copy, and then this system is converted to SAP S4HANA system using SUM tool. Okay, after this, whatever physical activities, as I told you, from the FIS point of view, you will be doing some configurations. From the SD point of view, from MM, from PP, from HR, whatever different modules you are using. If you want additional features, those features which are already available, you don't need to perform any configuration. Already your company codes, your plants, your sales organizations, purchase organization, business area, everything is available here. If you want to add some new features, for example, you want to activate the new credit management. For example, you want to activate the new BRF plus output management. Okay, for example, you want to create an extension ledgers which are not available in the old ECC system. Only in those cases you need to perform the additional configurations here, and these configurations you are going to move to the production system, obviously via quality. So the quality will come in between, right? So from development you will move to quality, and from quality it will go to production. So first, before you move these transports, you have to convert your production system also to SAP S4HANA by again using the same tool of SUM. Right, so this is a timeline. You can see T1 is maybe 1 month after the development the status, T2 maybe after few days or few weeks it will be converted to SAP S4HANA, and then production, before it was SAP ECC system, and after that it was converted to SAP S4HANA using SUM tool, and then the TRs were moved from the SAP S4HANA development system. Okay, now let's talk about the functionalities. Okay, let's talk about the functionalities. Or before that, let me go through few questions on the chat screen so that let's make it more interactive. So I already asked my team to compile the questions. Instead of going through each and every question, I will only go through the questions which are compiled by my team. So if the same question is asked multiple times, they will just compile it and provide me the single question. Okay, Praveen is asking one question: whether S/4HANA migration cockpit can be used in system conversion project for data migration. I think just now I told you we don't need any additional tools to perform the data migration because our data is available on the same system. We don't have two systems. We are not having two systems from where we are copying the data and dumping onto the other system. We don't have two systems. It is the same system. And that is the reason we don't need any data migration tools. It would be done as a part of system conversion itself. Okay. Another question: should we take a separate license for SAP readiness check? I don't think so. Okay, we definitely, SAP will not charge you for the readiness check because SAP wants the customers to move to SAP S4HANA. So if you are a ECC customer, before you decide to go for SAP S4HANA, you will definitely need to perform the readiness check. You need to see what all the things will be affected if you go for SAP S4HANA. So I don't think there is any separate licensing applicable for using the readiness check or any other tool that we discussed till now. Okay. Another question is, readiness check should be run in ECC? Yes, definitely. You have to execute the readiness check in the preparation phase itself. And as I told you, whatever you do in the preparation phase, it is in your existing ECC system. Okay. Some guys are asking whether we'll be getting the recording of this session. Yes, you will be getting the full recording. So in case if you missed out initial part, or in case maybe sometimes your network is not clear, you will be getting this recording. Okay. How long does it take for each of these steps in prepare phase and for DB to converted running SUM approximately? So see, first of all, the tools will not take much time. When you execute the tools, they may take maybe few hours, okay, not more than that. But the other activities, the manual activities that we need to do, the manual activities that we need to do in the source system in the preparation phase, as well as the activities that we are going to do in the target system, that totally depends upon uh, person to person, company to company, right? So I have seen some projects which are happening in few months also, and I have seen some projects which are taking more time than even a year also, right? So that is something which is not cannot be answered. But yes, if you are only talking about the conversion to SUM, it is some hours. Are you going to share the SAP notes used for the migration project? I don't think I need to share any SAP note. The links that I'm going to share with you, even the PDF file that I'm sharing now, I will make sure that there will be some documents also attached to it, so you can get the full information on the system conversions. Okay, but there are multiple SAP notes, so I cannot provide you the single note. If you go to that link, automatically it will show you all the notes. When you say technical, is it in the sense of ABAP or basis? It is both. When I say technical, it includes ABAP, it includes basis, it may also include Fiori. So all the consultants are responsible. Someone is writing, please suggest the difference between blue field and brown field. See, I told you two things. Greenfield means when you are implementing the SAP for the customer for the first time. So they don't want to go and migrate their existing system. They want to start a completely new implementation on SAP S4. That is called as greenfield. Brownfield, the total discussion that we had is on brownfield, which means system conversion. When the customer is using SAP ECC and they want to convert their existing system to SAP S4 HANA. And and the blue field is something completely different. Blue field is not converting the entire system to SAP S4HANA, but bringing some selective data. Okay, blue field is also called as selective data conversion, bringing some selective data from different systems to SAP system. Okay, for example, if I'm already using SAP ECC, and now I want to convert my existing system to S4HANA, but not with the system conversion approach. Okay, let's assume there is a lot of data available in my ECC system, and I only want to bring the financial data in my new SAP S4HANA system. And that too, let's say around 10 years of data is available in my ECC system, and I only want to bring 2 years of data. Okay, so this is called as selective data conversion. You are defining what data you want to bring from the other systems to SAP S4HANA system. These kind of projects are called as blue field implementation projects. If customer wants to move ECC to SAP S4HANA, but with changes like process change, garbage item they don't want to move, so what would be brown field or blue field? I think you got the answer. It is blue field. Okay, if you want to bring the selective data, it is blue field. If you don't want to bring all the data, it is blue field. If you want to convert as it is, whatever is available in your ECC to S4HANA, then it will be called as brown field. Okay, but that doesn't mean that in brown field we cannot do the cleansing. Okay, I'll give you the example. If you want to go for the brownfield project, and if you have 10,000 customers in your ECC, you don't want to bring all these 10,000 customers to S4, so you can do the cleansing in your ECC system itself. You can delete maybe the 5,000 customers that you don't need, so that will not come to S4 HANA. But before you perform the system conversion, you have to do the garbage cleaning. The cleansing must be done before you perform the conversion, right? That is a difference. Even from the custom objects, if you find that there are some custom objects which are there in SAP ECC, but you don't want to continue using them in SAP S4HANA, you can do the cleansing of the custom objects also in ECC. And then you can move only relevant objects to SAP S4HANA. Okay, maybe another two questions, then we will go to the next one. Is Azure a database? No, Azure is a cloud service provider from Microsoft. Azure is not a database. And there is no need to get confused when it comes to SAP S4HANA. The only database which is supported by SAP S4HANA is HANA database. No other database is supported by SAP. Srinath is asking, conversion is like updating iOS 17 to iOS 18. It does not mean moving from Android to iOS. Exactly, you got the point. But again, one thing which I wanted to clarify here, uh, there can be small upgradations also. Okay, for example, SAP S4HANA 1709 to SAP S4HANA 2020. This is also upgradation. But system conversion is not like this, because when it goes to the upgradation, there are only few features which are changed. Maybe 1 or 2% things are changed. But when we are talking about system conversion, there is a huge change. Around 20 to 30% of features are changed. Okay, so relevant, but not exactly the same. In S4HANA, do we need a separate license for group reporting BPC? Yes. The licensing part, again, there is no impact. The licensing part may be still, like, again, I'm not saying it is same, but the separate license may be required. If you want to use the advanced features, even if they are available in the core system, the licensing can be different. If I give the example, SAP provides the uh, license for the basic features without any additional cost. For example, if you want to use group reporting only for 5 legal entities, only for 5 company codes, no need to pay separate fees. But if you want to use group reporting for more than 5 company codes, you have to buy the separate license, although it is available in your core system itself. Okay, so I'll now go back to the slides, and now we will focus from the functional side. Please confirm if you are able to see my screen now. Can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. Okay, so now let's focus on, first thing we will discuss is from FICO point of view, and then we will discuss from the logistics point of view. So in short, what are the changes in SAP S4HANA Finance and Controlling compared to SAP ECC, and why this is important in the system conversion project? Okay, most importantly, why? If you are going to work on the system conversion project, okay, as a FI consultant, as a CO consultant, or as a FSCM consultant, whatever, from the FI perspective, from the financials perspective, you will be responsible for, first thing, clearly guiding the customer in understanding what are the changes compared to ECC. Number one, you should be very much clear on what are the new things in SAP S4HANA compared to SAP ECC. Number two, you should be also aware that in order to perform the system conversion, what are the activities that I need to perform in my ECC system itself before even starting the system conversion. You also need to understand, once the reports are sent by the technical team, okay, the reports like the custom code migration report or the simplification item check report, you need to understand how to read that report, and you need to also understand that how you are going to convince or how you are going to explain the feedback of these reports to your customer, and how you are actually getting their review, how you are able to convince them that this is a change which will come in SAP S/4HANA, and this is how it would be. This is a solution how it will happen in S/4HANA. For example, you will be telling them very clearly, this is a feature that you are using in SAP ECC, but this feature will not be available on SAP S/4HANA. So in order to use this feature, you have to configure this particular solution. So you should be that much confident in explaining those things to the customer. This is in the preparation. Now, once the actual conversion starts, okay, once the system conversion has been completed, technical consultants have used the SEM tool, they have upgraded the system to SAP S/4HANA. Now, depending upon what new features you want to use in S/4HANA, for example, today you were not using extension ledgers. Okay, now customer knows that in S/4HANA there is something called as extension ledger, which is a good functionality, and they want to use it. So you need to understand how to configure it. Okay. Similarly, customer was using classic asset accounting. Once the classic asset accounting was migrated to SAP S/4HANA, it will start throwing errors. Classic asset accounting will not work at all in S/4HANA. So you need to understand how you are going to implement the new asset accounting after the conversion is completed. Again, customer was using SD credit management in SAP ECC. Customer will not be able to use the SD credit management in S/4HANA. So you need to understand how are you going to configure the FSCM credit management and how you are going to migrate the existing data of the existing customers into SAP S/4HANA. So those are the things that we as a consultant need to understand from the functional side in order to work on the system conversion projects, right? So first we need to understand what has been changed, and then we need to also think from the system conversion perspective, what activities will be done in the source component itself and what activities we need to do in the target component. Okay, and these are just the sample. I'm not saying this is the full list of the things which are changed. Okay, these are just the samples. As I told you, if you want to go with the detailed list, you can go to the simplification item catalog. Number one, in SAP S/4HANA Finance, SAP came up with the new concept called as universal journal. Okay, and this is a very big functionality in SAP if you think from the broader perspective, because in SAP ECC, if I talk about the different five components, okay, component number one FI, component number two CO, number three asset accounting, number four material ledger, and number five COPA. There were separate set of tables. Asset accounting, there were 10, 12 different tables. CO, again separate set of tables. FI, BKPF, BSEG, and n number of tables. For COPA, again separate tables, and for material ledger, again different set of tables. So there were n number of tables, and the data was like half of the data here, half of the data there, and it was very, very difficult for the reconciliation purpose. Okay. Now, in order to simplify that, what SAP has done is they came up with the concept of universal journal. Okay, which means the data related to all these five components, okay, FICO, asset accounting, material ledger, and account based COPA, will stay at one single place. That is a new table called as universal journal table, AC-doc A. So this single table will hold all the information at one place, which means from the reconciliation point of view, we don't need to worry. All the data will be always reconciled. Okay, so that is benefit number one. That is the reason most of the customers are preferring to go for S/4HANA, because they will get rid of this reconciliation issues. Now, these reconciliation issues, I'm not saying they were a lot in ECC, but if I talk about before ECC, R2, R3, these were the big challenges. In ECC, although there were already simplifications due to which there were not much reconciliation issues, but now there is no question at all because everything is at one single place. Number two, additional parallel currencies. In ECC, system was supporting only 1 plus 2, which means three currencies, one main currency, company code currency, and two additional currencies. In SAP S/4HANA, system supports 1 plus 1 plus 8, which means total 10 currencies. So one is your company code currency, second is your controlling area currency, and up to 8 additional user defined currencies. Okay, so how to set up that, how to perform the configuration, when the configuration needs to be done, how to collect the requirements, these all things we need to understand as a consultant. Another functionality called as extension ledgers. This was not at all there in SAP ECC. This is a new feature which has been introduced in S4HANA. And the extension ledger purpose is for different features. For example, predictive accounting. Again, a new feature in SAP S4HANA. Okay, there is a valuation specific ledger which is used for performing the the foreign currency valuations in mid of the month. Normally we perform the foreign currency valuations towards the end of the month, but if you want to generate the financial reports in mid of the month and you want to include the profit or loss in foreign currencies, you can execute using this extension ledger and it will generate the report. Another extension ledger type is simulation ledger. Okay, which is again going to be used to perform the simulation activities. Okay, again which is specific to a particular scenario. So in short, this extension ledger concept allows you to generate the report at any point in time rather than waiting till the month end. Next one is unified master data. Okay, when we say unified master data, we talk about the cost element and GL account. In ECC, there was a separate T code for cost element and there was a separate T code for general ledger creation. In S4HANA, this has been merged. And why it is merged? Because in SAP ECC, FI and CO were two independent components, although they were integrated with each other. But now in SAP S4HANA, they are merged. So even the master data has been merged. These are some new functions which are very important for the new functionalities. For example, if you are using group reporting, for example, if you want to activate any new features going forward, you need to understand what are global hierarchies, you need to understand what are flexible hierarchies, okay, what are global allocations. So all these things have become very important. Another new feature which is introduced in SAP S4HANA is cost center budgeting. Previously, the budgeting was only possible at the internal order level and it was possible at the PS level if you are using PS module or if you are using funds management module. For cost center, we were able to do the planning, but budgeting and availability control was not available at the cost center level. So that is also something which has been added in S4HANA latest versions. Bank account management, the way how you create the bank accounts in SAP ECC is no more same. It is now Fiori based, and if you want to use the advanced features, even there are multiple level of approvals, which was not possible at all in SAP ECC. Okay, this we already discussed. In ECC, we were able to create the customers and vendors without creating the business partners, but in SAP S4HANA, we need to create the business partners in order to create a customer and vendor. Okay, now if you go to the right hand side, I talked about the new asset accounting. So in new asset accounting, now it is possible to activate real-time postings to multiple valuations. Okay, there is no need of creating the delta areas. So those of you who are coming from finance background, you might be knowing what are delta areas and what were the challenges. There were a lot of periodic activities which were required. No more, because now the new asset accounting supports the real-time postings in multiple valuation areas. Okay, there is a concept of technical clearing account. This is the hottest question I think in the interviews. If you say that I have worked on SAP S4HANA as a FI consultant, this is the first thing that the interviewers will ask you. Okay, and then from the integration point of view, there is an operational document and there is a valuation specific document. Account-based COPA has been completely redesigned. There were a lot of issues in account-based COPA in the previous versions. In SAP S4HANA, it is completely redesigned and it is also called as margin analysis now. Okay, so COGS split was a problem that has been resolved. Variance split was a problem that has been resolved in account-based COPA. There are some changes in the material ledger. Obviously, one is the universal journal, which means the data of material ledger also will go to ST doc A. But in addition to that also, There are some changes like material ledger is activation is mandatory. Number two, the if you are using material ledger actual costing programs, okay, those are simplified. Okay, and then obviously SAP Fiori apps. So the transactions that we are doing currently, okay, we are doing most of the transactions using classic GUI. But as I told you, Fiori is now available, and slowly customers are being ready. Customers are now becoming ready to start using Fiori going forward. So that is also something which you need to learn in order to understand which Fiori app will be applicable for which particular scenario. So these are from the FI side. As I told you, these are just the sample ones that I'm showing you. The actual list you will be able to see under the uh, simplification item check or simplification item catalog. Similarly, if I go towards the logistics, I think this is my last slide. So once this is done, we will go and we will have the round of questions once again. So simplified features in SAP S/4HANA logistics. So first thing is mandatory activation of material ledger. This, as I told you, in FI also, some of the topics are common between FI and logistics. Again, business partner for customer vendor. So this is also one of the topic which is common in FI, which means how we are going to create the customers and vendors going forward in S/4HANA. And it is not only about creating, it is also about how we are going to convert the existing customers and vendors which are there in ECC to SAP S/4HANA, right? Field length extension. So material master field which was having 18 characters, now we can have up to 40 characters. So why SAP introduced that? In which cases we should activate it? What are the uh, what are the challenges if you activate it? So normally it is applicable for the automotive industries where they were not happy with 18 characters because their code is much bigger than 18 characters. Okay, and that is the reason SAP has now allowed in S4 HANA, if you want to activate more than 18 characters, you can activate using this field length extension. There is a flexible workflow for PR and PO. So normally what we do is we create a release strategy, and using the release strategy, we can approve or reject the purchase orders in SAP ECC. But now in S4HANA, we have the flexible workflow, which is Fiori based and which can have multiple level of approvals. Similarly, there is simplified pricing. Okay, there are a lot of changes which has happened in the pricing conditions. Okay, this is applicable for both as well as SD. Data model is table level changes. So there are a lot of changes in the table levels in all the three modules, FI, and SD. Then BRF plus based output determination, as I told you. So currently, if I talk about and SD, the output determination we use via transaction code NACE, right? So there are different objects like purchase order output determination, there is billing output determination, sales order output determination, delivery output determination. Whatever we do via NACE, it is now also possible to do via BRF plus. And in cloud, which is a future, in cloud only BRF plus based output is supported. So that is also something which we as a consultant need to know in order to work on the projects where customer wants to implement BRF plus. Then the rebate management, which was part of SAP SD and SAP it has been removed now, and it is only available via the settlement management. So there is a new component called as settlement management, using which we can perform the rebate processing. From the Fiori point of view, there are a lot of analytical apps available for procurement, from sales. Okay, as I told you, the credit management, which was there in SAP SD credit management, now converted to FSCM credit management. I told you APO also. So previously, this advanced ATP functionality was only possible in APO, a separate component. Now, some features which are very important for the customers are available in the core system itself. And this is completely again Fiori based. Changes in revenue recognition. This is like if you are from FI or SD point of view, you know there is something called as SAP RAR, revenue accounting and reporting. So that is also one change. Previously, the things which were done in SAP SD for revenue recognition, that component has been removed from SAP, and now in order to recognize the revenue, only solution from SAP is SAP RAR. Okay, similarly MRP has been simplified a lot. MRP means material requirement planning. So what used to take maybe 8 hours earlier in order to plan the material, now it can be done in few minutes with the help of HANA database and the simplified program which has been written for MRP in the background. So with the help of parallel processing and all, the time has been reduced a lot. Simplified sourcing, which means identifying the supplier. This is from the perspective. Okay, so whenever you want to buy a material, in order to decide from which supplier to buy, you create the quotations or RFQs. Vendor will send you the quotation. So that process has been simplified with Fiori. And finally, you have different apps available for end-to-end process in procure to pay as well as order to cash. So these are again some of the areas where SAP has done a lot of improvements. Okay, and with each and every version. Okay, so for example, today we are in 2023. SAP may not come with the version of 2024 because they have announced that now on-premise versions will come only in 2 years. So we may not get the version this year, but whenever a new version will come, again they will provide some additional benefits for the customers so that customers are always getting the latest features, right? So whatever are the challenges today, we don't need to wait for 5 years, 10 years. When the new product will come, within the same product, SAP will keep on bringing those enhancements, right? So I hope now you got a clarity, a high level understanding of what exactly is a system conversion project, what are the different phases in the system conversion project, what is the role of a technical consultant, what are the tools a technical consultants can use, what is the role of the functional consultant from FI side, what is the role of the functional consultant from logistics side, and then what are the features SAP has introduced or changed from FI perspective, and what are the features SAP has introduced or changed from logistics perspective. And not only with the slides, I also told you which are the documents that you can refer. For example, if you go to simplification item catalog and select it for your own module, it will clearly tell you what has been changed in your module and with the relevant SAP note. Okay, let me go back to any questions, any doubts. Okay, Srinath is asking, is Fiori good enough currently as compared to SAP GUI? See, the question is not about whether it is good enough or not, because it totally depends upon your connectivity and all. Because SAP GUI, because it is your own system, it normally works faster compared to Fiori, because Fiori may take some time to load. Okay, and this problem which was there 5 years back, it has been like it has been improved now. So now I have seen many customers who are predominantly using Fiori. So again, it is all about future. If you think from the future point of view, Fiori is the only solution, because everybody is moving to cloud nowadays, and in cloud we will not have the option to GUI, and most of the customers will only use Fiori. So going forward, even I'm not sure whether 1 year, 2 year down the line, but ultimately the whole objective of SAP is to move everything to Fiori. So as of today, if you ask me as a consultant, I am still preferring GUI. Why? Because I am used to it, and in the taste system we don't get that much speed for Fiori. But if it is a client system, if they apply the latest of technology, even the Fiori screens will be faster. There are some questions on specific finance or specific logistics. I'm ignoring as of now. I'm just concentrating first on the business, first on these system conversion projects. Non-SAP system to SAP system can be considered as brownfield or greenfield. It is definitely greenfield. Brownfield means ECC to S4HANA. So there is no question of non-SAP system. Non-SAP system means greenfield. Good question on the chat screen. Customer has decided to move to SAP S4HANA from ECC to only move all the configuration data but not the master data and transactions. Will this be again considered as selective data transformation? Yes, it is a selective data transformation. Okay, or even if you don't call it as a selective data transformation, even this can be done with the client copy. Normally when they do the client copy, they select what data to be shifted and what data not to shift. So this is a very common scenario. So new S/4HANA functionalities are configured before ECC or after going live. As I told you, some of the features we need to activate before converting the system, and some of the activities we can configure only when the system is converted. Right, so example that I gave you is BP. We need to create a customer and vendor as BP in ECC itself, even before conversion. But the new credit management, for example, we can only activate, or extension ledgers we can only activate when it is converted. Someone has written, could you please explain the role of in the data conversion for an FI consultant? If you are talking about the system conversion, as I told you, the functional consultant role is to perform the basic configurations before converting the system. As a FI consultant, we are also responsible for configuring the system once the system is converted. And on top of that, as a functional consultant, we are also responsible to understand the reports which are given to you by the technical consultants. We need to produce this report, present this report to our stakeholders. We need to take their feedback, and accordingly, we need to take the actions also. So, see, first of all, simple. Functional consultants are always at key when it comes to any kind of project. Even if it is a system conversion project, it doesn't mean that the technical consultant will be responsible for all the discussion with business. All the discussions with the business are still the responsibility of a functional consultant. Okay, as a technical consultant, they will just use the technical tool, they will generate a report, they will not be able to read the report on their own, they will not be able to understand the report on their own. It is your responsibility to understand the report and make this report understandable to your business users and get their feedback. Someone is asking, what is the difference between migration project and system conversion project? See, migration can be any kind of migration. Migration can be you are migrating the data from non-SAP system to SAP system. Okay, that is kind of a migration project. But when we talk about system conversion, it is only from ECC to S4HANA. Okay, maybe the next 2-3 questions before we summarize the session. Yeah, one good question. What is the downtime required for production system? So when we are going to perform the system conversion, is there any downtime required? The answer is yes. By default, the downtime will be required when the data is being converted. But at the same time, SAP has also provided a tool, okay, which allows you to perform the data migration in the background even when you are doing the normal day-to-day transactions. Okay, so only downtime you will need is when your system is becoming ready, when it is getting converted. For data conversion, you don't need to wait. You can start using the normal day-to-day transactions. In the background, system will continue to perform the data migration. Okay, I think the other questions are related to kind of career guidance or something, which I want to skip as of now because our whole intention here was system conversion. You can always connect with my team, as well as if you want, you can ask them to connect a call with me also if you have any specific question related to the career and all. But apart from that, let me see if there is any important question related to system conversion. Someone has asked, in terms of percentage, how much is it changed from ECC to SAP HANA? As I told you, around 30 to 40% you can see. There are changes in the configuration, master data, even transactions around 30 to 40%. Okay, so I think we are done with the Q&A now. The last thing that I wanted to talk about, let me just start sharing my screen once again. So for those of you who are from the functional side, and if you want to go into the detail of this understanding, if you have not done any course till now on SAP S4HANA system conversion and you want to become a SAP S4HANA system, specifically if you want to work on the system conversion projects, so for that particular, uh, you can say that particular expertise, we are starting a new batch from this uh, 13th of July, right? From Saturday, next to next Saturday. Yeah, 13th of July, we are starting a new batch which will be on finance. So what we are going to talk about is again from basics. What is HANA? What is SAP S4HANA? What is SAP Activate? Okay. And then we are going to talk about what has been changed compared to ECC and S4HANA. But this will be theoretical. This will not be theoretical. This will be more of practical. We are going to see all these things what I discussed today during the session, okay, in practical, right? We are going to talk about how to set up the parallel currencies, how to see the values posted to the universal journal, how to set up the extension ledgers, what are the different type of extension ledgers, what is their purpose, okay, how to create a unified master data, how to create the flexible hierarchies, cost center budgeting. So at least whatever topics are mentioned here, we are going to talk about these topics in detail. And please make sure that this is a functional training. So we are definitely not going to understand how the sum tool actually works. We are definitely not going to understand how uh, the custom code report or custom code report is taken from the system, because that is something which is done by the technical side. But at least I can try to show you some sample reports. I will take some sample reports and will show you how that reports looks like, okay, and how to read that data and how to uh, present that to your customer to get their feedback, right? So we are actually planning two batches, but because of the time challenge, initially we are planning only for FICO. The next batch that we'll plan is for logistics, okay. And there is one more option, in case if you want to join as a logistics consultant and you are more interested in learning only from the logistics point of view, because around 40% of the content will be same. If I talk about FICO and SDMM logistics, around 40% of the content will be same. For example, in FI also we are going to talk about business partner and customer. In SD and MM also this topic is relevant, right? Similarly, material ledger we are going to talk about in both. So there are few topics which are common, which will come in FI, MM as well as SD. So in case if you would like to join this batch, okay, so that 40% of the things can be done on the live session, and then remaining 50-60% of the things will be done via videos. So I'll be recording the new videos. I already have the videos on logistics, but I'm also planning to record additional videos with the latest version on 2023. In case if you are from MM and SD and you want to join that batch where 40% of the content will be live and 60% of the content will be provided to you in the form of videos on the weekly basis, that option is also available. Okay, but this FI is for sure, it is starting from 13th of July. Okay, if you have any other doubts related to course, related to whatever topics we discussed, even in case if you don't want to join the course but you have any doubt or something, you can reach out to us. I think you already got our email IDs and all, but I'll just write it once again. This is our email ID. You can send any doubt, any question on this email ID, or you can WhatsApp us on this number. Okay, it is on your chat screen now. So we can communicate via this. Okay, I hope this session was helpful. At least you got the basic idea of what exactly is system conversion and you enjoyed the session. Anything else? Maybe next 5 minutes, you can keep writing your questions. If you have anything, you can just, I cannot unmute you because there are a lot of guys. If I unmute, there will be a lot of disturbance. Yes, one good question on the chat screen. When ECC to S4HANA is done, do we have a purchase SAP Fiori separately? No, SAP Fiori is not a separate product. SAP Fiori is an inbuilt thing which comes with SAP S4HANA. We don't need the separate license. Balakrishna is asking, sir, if we have migration data in the same system, then in which case we will use LTMC for data migration? As I told you, Bala, the LTMC tool will be used only when you are moving the data between two different systems. Okay, this is the same system which we are converting. In case if I have a legacy system, let's say I have an Oracle system and I want to convert the data in S4 HANA, in that case I'll be able to use LTMC, LSMW and many other data migration tools. But if I'm doing the system conversion, I don't need LTMC. I will only need LTMC if I want to bring the data from the other third-party system. Okay, some of you are asking the details about the course. Just give me a minute. I'll just send you the link of that course. And please, if you are planning to join, please make sure that you register today because starting from tomorrow, the price is going to increase. I was planning to have this session before so that you get enough time, but the problem is I was also traveling and I was not able to conduct this particular session before that. So please make sure that if you want to save at least some amount, try to register today itself. It is there in the link itself, the link that I provided, all the information is mentioned there. And also, if you are doing it today, try to use this coupon code save 2k. Okay, this is just shared with my team, so they are saying some offer is also going on. So if you want to register today, just use this. I think it will work. It will only work today, but so please make sure that if you want to register, do it today itself so that you are able to save. Okay then, so I think it was a very good discussion with all of you. I will definitely try to conduct this kind of more sessions so that we can interact on these platforms, and wish you a best luck for your future. Thank you all. I think you got the link. If not, I will ask my team also to send the link on your email. So those of who you are not able to see the link, you will be able to see uh, on your email also. Okay. Does this coupon code work on other courses? I'm not sure. Let me just check. Just give me a minute. I'll just check with my team. Or you can just WhatsApp us on our number and my team will guide you. Okay, thank you all. Bye. Hope to see you in the class which we are starting from 13th July. Bye.